For analysis on the current situation in Iran, we are joined now by Alex Vatanka, a native of Tehran. He is now based in the U.S. and is a senior fellow and founding director of the Iran program at the Middle East Institute, a nonpartisan think tank in Washington, D.C. Alex, thanks for joining us. How destabilizing is this moment for the Islamic Republic now with the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei now killed?
Catherine, it's great to be with you. Look, there's no way of saying this other than to point out that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had been there since 1989. So just under 37 years in power. He's left some big shoes to fill, not necessarily in a good way. He is the man that I personally hold responsible for the state of affairs in many ways, but he's now gone. We don't really have a clear sense of the power dynamic in Tehran. There are different factions, there are different leanings in terms of where the country should go, but we don't know who's going to have the upper hand. And obviously, they have to make these very consequential political decisions at a time where the United States and Israel are actively, dropping bombs and missiles over their heads. So they don't have necessarily much time. They're under intense pressure, and they have to make some very big decisions going forward. Remains to be seen what they do next.
Well, leaning into that, can you explain the leadership vacuum in Iran right now and how Iran is currently being governed? The Iranian constitution did have a plan in place for this, right?
They did, and there will be probably at some point when the conditions allow for it, there will be probably announcement suggesting that a new supreme leader has been appointed. It's not the sort of central question, though, in many ways, because the supreme leadership is a position that really reflects the personality and the power that that person brings to the office, as opposed to the office giving you much power in itself. So it will take some time, even if there's a new supreme leader, for that person to see what they can do politically. And Ali Khamenei took a long time. When he became supreme leader in '89, it took him a few years before he was comfortable in his new role to actually start sort of shaping the agenda. So, right now there's an interim council. There are a number of leading figures inside the regime that are essentially running the everyday affairs, including the war effort. The supreme leadership symbolically is important. It will suggest continuity. The small base of people that still believe in this regime might want that kind of an appointment. But in terms of whether it's essential to have a supreme leader tomorrow or next week for them to continue doing what they're doing, I wouldn't say so.
Alex, I think a big question people are wondering is how realistic is a regime change, in your opinion?
Look, I mean, we already have regime change. Ali Khamenei is dead. That is regime change. The question is the Islamic Republic going to be toppled entirely? I mean, the idea of theocracy, clerics ruling together with the Revolutionary Guards, that's a much bigger question. And I don't think we have very clear answer in terms of what the United States is after. President Trump's first week into this war has not given us clarity on that. He has mentioned all sorts of scenarios, one including dealing with someone coming from within the regime that he would be willing to work with, like he did in Venezuela. Other times he talks about arming ethnic groups to go in and by force take parts of Iranian territory, which suggests a very different trajectory going forward. So clarity on the part of the United States would help, because I think a lot of folks inside the Iranian regime are looking for ways out. That's my estimation. And the other thing is, if there's clarity on the part of the United States, it will also help focus minds in the vast Iranian opposition, both outside of the country, but also those people inside who actually, in many ways, concluded a long time ago that this regime's time is up, and they're looking for a new future going forward. How that future is going to look like, obviously yet to be debated. But I have no doubt that this regime, if it survives, will have to will have to make some very tough decisions, including the one that is obviously most pressing, whether to talk to Donald Trump. He's asked for today unconditional surrender, or if they're going to sort of double down, if you will, and see if they can essentially tie the United States out and hope to survive that way.
And Alex, can you tell us what has the day-to-day looked like for Iranian citizens this week? The country has declared 40 days of national mourning.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, they've never been in this place before. Iran in its history has never been attacked on this scale before. So this is a moment where a lot of Iranians who, again, in my estimation, by and large, really did not like the Islamic Republic, still do not like the Islamic Republic, and yet now they have to sort of square it, not liking the political system that ruled over him since 1979 versus the very potentially dangerous future that lies ahead, including the idea of civil war. And I think that sort of a message of clarity from Washington, from the opposition, in terms of somebody having a roadmap for the day after will help the Iranian people who right now, I can only imagine, and based what I've heard from inside of Iran, are extremely nervous because the city of Tehran today experienced the heaviest bombardment in the last week of this war, and it could only get worse. So I only have empathy, and I hope this conflict would wrap up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Vatanka, thank you so much for your expertise and your time. Thank you.
Thank you.